So the quotes from the lecture, the specific quotes are, "Every conceivable attitude or concept about life creates such a force field. And the force field of a specific attitude to life is also ruled by laws of attraction, like attracting like." So when I was talking before about as in heaven, so below, and back and forth, what the guide presents in many other places in the lectures is that the laws of physics, the law of gravity, all the laws of nature that we deal with on this planet, the laws of mathematics, all these sciences that we work with, are in effect a version of spiritual law. That the same thing exists in spiritual law on a much broader, much more extensive level. So that you can take Newtonian physics, and Newtonian physics, gravity, attraction, inertia, momentum, all these terms, is reflected in spiritual law as well. Spiritual law being larger and more expansive than human science. But we shouldn't discard human science. We should perhaps step into it and see a larger picture, or see it from a larger perspective. So, sorry, just trying to get my head straight on the next point. I kind of lined this up in what I thought was a logical sequence of information, but I don't know whether it is or not. So,
sounds like that brings into play the observer self.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So in the place where we're asking you to look at your own involvement in something, what part of you is going to do that? So that's what the observer self can be set up to do. That you can find a part of you, and this is not like one mask or another mask. This is not fragments or pie-shaped segments of consciousness. I think that the observer self is a way of anthropomorphizing, or using words to describe a part of you that is capable of being objective, even under strenuous circumstances. So, for instance, people who are trained to be emergency medical personnel, they're not inhuman. They care about blood, they care about pain, they care about urgency, but they've been trained to go through a certain protocol. And there's a part of them that is holding the need to be scientific and careful about what they do, because that's the best way to deal with an emergency. And yet the part of them that wants to respond to a human being is still active. And some people can't do that. But that would be an example of a profession where the ability to train the objective observer allows you to do something that civilians can't do. Okay? So that's a way of looking at your observer self. That when you find yourself in an emergency, the observer self just stands by and says, let me see, what would be good to do under these circumstances? What is appropriate considering our value system? What is our priority? So a lot of professions use that ability to be objective in the profession itself. So yes, in this work, we need to do the same thing. We need to train part of us to be objective, part of us to be able to stand back out of the emergency and not be overwhelmed by what's going on, but not to be insensitive to what's going on, to not interfere with what needs to be done, but to assist us in keeping our reason, not being rational, but keeping our reason and our reason options open, keeping our emotion options open, and continuing to scan to see if we're taking advantage of everything at hand. So you can think of your objective observer as being like a paramedic or a doctor or an emergency person who will hold that space for you and help you find priorities.